Today is the 21st of March 2022. So we have this opportunity now to sit in meditation, and we do so to bring our minds to peace, maintaining mindfulness there within them, and also having a sense of carefulness and caution. So when we eat, we need to have mindfulness and caution there as well. Need to be contemplating what it is that we're eating. Is this food harmful towards us, or does it give us benefit? Because sometimes we can become sick from the things that we eat, and this is especially so if we're not cautious around what we eat. That lack of caution can just make us more and more ill. So if we have too much food as well, then this can bring up illnesses within the body. We also contemplate the clothes or the robes that we wear, and that we wear these just to survive, just to stay on in this world. And if we have too much clothing, then it's difficult to look after all of this. And the time that we spend taking care of that wastes the time that we could be practicing. We also need to contemplate the things that we use, also the medical requisites that we consume as well. And do these things really cure illnesses? So like shampoo, for example, that there can be some kinds that can give skin disorders. And there can actually be lots of chemicals that have harmful, even poisonous effects. And some people can even die from these. So we need to be mindful, need to contemplate and reflect upon the things that we use. And this faculty of mindfulness is a quality that is of great importance. It gives us a huge amount of benefit. This mindfulness or recollection, sati, and then sampajanya, this clear awareness. And if we're going to summarize this, the Buddha's teachings, that he taught us to not be heedless, which really means to have mindfulness and to have this clear awareness. Because if we have these, then we're heedful. If we don't, then we're heedless. And for those people who don't, even though they're walking around, even though they're breathing, they're dead already. Because they don't have mindfulness caring for their hearts. So when we study, we need to be mindful. When we go to work, we need to be mindful. And when we put down our work and come to meditate, and what that means is cultivating mindfulness, to always be recollecting the generosity that we've done, the sila that we have kept, and we can recollect these. And so when we cultivate mindfulness, then wisdom arrives. And when we have wisdom, then this inner Buddha appears within our hearts. And so when mindfulness arises, then this Buddha nature arises within us. If we have mindfulness, then we have wisdom. If mindfulness comes, then wisdom appears. Or we could say that if mindfulness comes, then we have this Buddha nature. And if we have mindfulness, then the Buddha nature comes. And so this comes to our minds, helps to care for our hearts. Because we know that the foundations or the basis of the defilements arising are these sense impressions which appear within the mind, come into the mind. And so when there are these sense impressions, then we have a certain feeling towards them. And there's clinging, there's craving that comes up. And we need to abandon this clinging there within the mind, because if we attach to things, then suffering will arise. If we don't attach, then there's no suffering. In the beginning, however, we develop generosity. Through the faith that we have in our hearts, we can offer the 4 requisites. And so those who have this faith can be generous very easily. And for those lacking in faith, it's something very difficult to do. And even though some people are very wealthy, they don't have this conviction, the saddha, and so they don't do it. Or perhaps sometimes there isn't the opportunity to do it. Because some people, they have faith, they have wealth, but there aren't people to help. And just like in very developed countries, it's difficult to find people to be generous towards. But in underdeveloped countries, there are a lot of people going through difficulties, through suffering, and so it's more easy to help them and to cultivate barami in these situations. So we should be proud of what we do, of the generosity that we have created, and carry on cultivating our barami, our spiritual perfections. Because generosity and virtue, this is a wealth that we gain. And these give us happiness and contentment in our hearts. And so we see the results of these actions. This does bring up this inner contentment, this joy within the heart, that we gain that from helping out other people. For example, from offering food, or offering shelter, or medicines, or water, or people who are suffering, who are ill, that we help them out. And through this, then we feel a sense of contentment, of inner ease and happiness. And we see that this is the merit of our actions, that it gives us this coolness in the heart, this coolness through goodness. And perhaps that coolness lasts for a day, or perhaps for many, many days. But if that state of inner coolness starts to reduce, then we should recollect these good acts that we've done. The food that we've offered, the water that we've offered, the 4 requisites that we've given. And this can bring back this inner coolness, bring back this fullness of heart. And so as we carry on cultivating this goodness, then the happiness that we experience grows and grows, and our samadhi becomes firmly established. And then from there, wisdom arises. And then we can reflect upon the Buddha and the goodness of the Buddha, and that it's due to his goodness that we know about this path. We know about how to create merit, about generosity, virtue, and meditation. So we see how the great virtues of the Buddha are endless. They just go on. And as we recollect this, then this fullness comes into our heart. They fill up with happiness. And so we maintain this mindfulness there, looking over our hearts, caring for our hearts, and carry on practicing in this way. And in the end, the mind will become pure, and we see the Dhamma. When we see the Dhamma, then we see the Buddha. So may you set your hearts on practicing like this.